Hello, Amazon. My name is Scott Perdue. I'm Amazon author of over 100 books, tons of great Christian books, self-help books on Amazon, all kinds of stuff that'll change your life, give you tons of wisdom. Next time you're on Amazon, pull up the search bar, type in my name, Scott Perdue, see what all pulls up. There's got to be some great books there full of wisdom for you. Grab those up. They'll change your life forever. Anyway, today I'm going to go over a book I'd recently written called Be Fruitful and Multiply, a biblical guide to family planning and parenthood. Biblical foundations. Today's lesson is about biblical foundations of family planning, exploring the biblical passages and principles that encourage procreation and the divine command to be fruitful and multiply. Introduction. Family planning, while often considered a modern concept, has roots deeply embedded in biblical teachings. The Bible offers a wealth of wisdom and guidance on the subject of family, procreation, and the stewardship of life. This report delves into the biblical foundations of family planning, focusing on the divine command to be fruitful and multiply, and explores how these ancient principles continue to provide direction and purpose for contemporary believers. The divine command, be fruitful and multiply. The command to be fruitful and multiply is one of the earliest directives given by God in the Bible. This mandate is repeated throughout the scriptures, emphasizing the importance of God's design for humanity. Genesis 1:28, the initial blessing. In Genesis 1:28, God blesses Adam and Eve with the following words. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the living thing that moveth upon the earth, and every living thing that moveth upon the earth. This verse establishes the foundational principle of procreation as a divine blessing and responsibility. It reflects God's intention for humanity to populate the earth and exercise stewardship over his creation. This command to be fruitful and multiply is not merely a suggestion, but a directive that underscores the importance of family and procreation in God's plan. Genesis 9:1, renewal of the command. After the flood, God renews his command to Noah and his sons in Genesis 9:1, and God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. This affirmation signifies the continuity of God's plan for human procreation and stewardship across generations. It reinforces the notion that despite human failings and catastrophic events of the flood, God's purpose for humanity remains unchanged. Genesis 35:11, promise to Jacob. God's command to be fruitful and multiply is reiterated in his covenant with Jacob in Genesis 35:11. And God said unto him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. Here the command is intertwined with the promise of blessing and nation building, emphasizing that procreation is not only about filling the earth, but also about establishing and perpetuating a godly lineage. God's design for family and parenthood. The biblical perspectives on family and parenthood is holistic, encompassing the physical, spiritual, and moral dimensions of life. God's design for family involves specific roles and responsibilities for parents, aimed at fostering a nurturing and faith-filled environment. The role of parents. Parents are entrusted with the sacred duty of raising their children in accordance with God's commandments. Deuteronomy 6:6-7 encapsulates this responsibility. And these words, which I command thee this day, shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. This passage highlights the importance of integrating God's teaching into daily life and ensuring that children grow up with a deep understanding and reverence for his word. Parenting from a biblical standpoint is an act of discipleship, is an act of discipleship while parents model and impart godly values and principles to their offspring. The blessing of children. Children are constantly portrayed as a blessing from God. Psalms 127, 3-5 beautifully illustrates this view. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate. All right. This passage emphasizes that children are not only a reward but also a source of strength and joy. The imagery of arrows in the hands of a warrior suggests that children are instruments through which God's purposes are advanced, and a full quiver represents a family abundant in blessings. Historical examples of biblical families. The Bible provides numerous examples of families who followed God's command to be fruitful and multiply, showcasing both their faithfulness and the challenges they faced. Adam and Eve. As the first family, Adam and Eve exemplify the fulfillment of God's command. Genesis 4:1-2 records the birth of the first children. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. Their story, while marked by tragedy and sin, underscores the fundamental role of procreation in God's plan and sets the stage for the unfolding human narrative. Abraham and Sarah. Abraham and Sarah's story in Genesis 17:19 highlights God's miraculous intervention in the fulfillment of his promise. And God said, Sarah, thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish a covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. Despite their old age and initial doubt, God's promise to make Abraham a father of many nations is realized through Isaac, demonstrating that procreation within God's timing is central to his covenantal promises. Hannah and Elkanah. The story of Hannah and Elkanah in 1 Samuel 1:20-22 provides a poignant example of faith and dedication. Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come about after Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, Because I have asked him of the Lord, therefore also I have lent him to the Lord. As long as he liveth, he shall be lent to the Lord. Hannah's fervent prayers and vow to dedicate her son to God highlight the spiritual dimension of procreation and parenting. While children are viewed as gifts to be nurtured and offered back to God in service, trusting God's provision and timing. The Bible emphasizes the importance of trusting in God's provision and timing for children, advocating faith over human planning. Proverbs 3:5-6, trusting in God. Proverbs 3:5-6 offers timeless wisdom. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. This passage encourages believers to trust in God's overarching plan, even in matters of family planning. Trusting in God's timing and provision means recognizing that he knows what is best for each family. Psalm 37:5, committing to God. Psalm 37:5 further reinforces this trust. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. By committing their family planning decisions to God, believers can rest assured that he will provide for their needs and guide their steps, balancing faith with practicality in family planning. While the Bible emphasizes faith, it also acknowledges the practical considerations that come with family planning. Balancing these aspects requires wisdom and discernment. Proverbs 24:3-4, wisdom in building a family. Proverbs 24:3-4 states, Through wisdom is a house builded, and by understanding it is established, and by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. This passage underscores the need for wisdom, understanding, and knowledge in building and managing a family. Practical considerations such as health, finances, and resources must be taken into account alongside with faith-based principles. Luke 14:28, counting the cost. Luke 14:28, Jesus teaches about the importance of planning. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient funds to finish it? Applying this principle to family planning, it is prudent to consider the practical aspects of raising a family, ensuring that one is prepared to provide for and nurture children responsibly. Natural family planning and fertility awareness. Natural family planning (NFP) methods align with the biblical teachings on openness to life, offering a faith-based approach to family planning. Understanding NFP, natural family planning, involves tracking a woman's fertility cycle to determine the most opportune times for conception or avoiding pregnancy. Methods include observing basal body temperature, cervical mucus, and calendar calculations. Biblical support for NFP. NFP is consistent with the biblical view of respecting the natural rhythms of the body and honoring God's design for procreation. It fosters communication and cooperation between spouses, reinforcing the biblical model of partnership and mutual respect in marriage. The role of prayer and spiritual discernment. Prayer and spiritual discernment are vital components of biblical family planning, guiding believers in making informed and faith-aligned decisions. Philippians 4:6-7, prayers for guidance. Philippians 4:6-7 encourages believers to seek God's guidance through prayer. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. By seeking God's wisdom and peace through prayer, couples can make family planning decisions that align with His will. James 1:5, asking for wisdom. James 1:5 offers reassurance. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that give to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given to him. This verse underscores the promise that God provides wisdom generously to those who seek it, including guidance in matters of family planning, raising godly offspring, parenting with a purpose. The Bible provides clear directives on raising children to love and serve God, emphasizing the importance of parental guidance and spiritual nurturing. Proverbs 22:6, training children. Proverbs 22:6 advises, train up your child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. This proverb underscores the significance of early spiritual formation and discipline in shaping children's character and values. Ephesians 6:4, nurturing and admonition. Ephesians 6:4 instructs parents, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nature and admonition of the Lord. Parents are called to nurture their children with love and discipline, guiding them in ways of the Lord and preparing them to fulfill their God-given purposes. Community support and the church's role in family planning. The church plays a pivotal role in providing support, encouragement, and resources to families as they navigate the journey of family planning. Hebrews 10:24-25, encouraging fellowship. Hebrews 10:24-25 exhorts believers, and let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as a manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching. Within the context of family planning, a church community serves as a place of fellowship, where couples can find encouragement, counsel, and prayer support. Galatians 6:2, bearing one another's burdens. Galatians 6:2 emphasizes mutual support. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. Through compassionate outreach and practical assistance, the church fulfills its mandate to support families in times of need, including those related to family planning. Overcoming challenges and embracing God's plan. Family planning can present various challenges, including infertility, health concerns, and societal pressures. However, the Bible offers comfort, guidance, and hope in navigating these obstacles. Psalm 127:3, children as a heritage. Psalm 127:3 reaffirms, lo, children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. This verse reminds believers that children are gifts from God, regardless of their circumstances surrounding their conception. Romans 8:28, God's purpose in trials. Romans 8:28 provides assurance And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose, to them who are called according to his purposes. Even in the midst of challenge, God's plan for each family remains sovereign, and he uses every circumstance for his glory and the good of his people. Conclusion to this lesson today: the biblical foundations of family planning provide a comprehensive framework for understanding God's purpose and principles regarding procreation, parenthood, and the stewardship of life. By exploring the divine command to be fruitful and multiply, along with supporting scriptures and examples from biblical families, believers are encouraged to approach family planning with faith, wisdom, and prayerful discernment. Balancing spiritual insights and practical considerations, such as natural family planning methods and community support, enables couples to embrace God's plan for their families while navigating challenges with hope and trust in his provision. All right, that concludes today's lesson. Thank you for following me through the video. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. This is a 10-part series, so there's 10 videos with the Be Fruitful and Multiply book. Please follow all of them. Check them all out. There's great wisdom for you in all of them. Next time you're on Amazon, though, search my name in the search bar, Scott Perdue. Pull up some of the books I've written. Buy a couple of them. There's definitely lots of life-changing wisdom there for you. Have a blessed day. Thank you for following me through this video. Hope to see you on the next one.